Good afternoon, Jubilante.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to CWS as it is.
Thank you for having me.
I just realized that, and I have to beg Christine to forgive me for this. I realized that I cut into her time by a few minutes, but I guess when you guys come back after your segment, um, we'll make up for it. But thanks for appearing.
Thank you.
Jubilante, tell us a little bit about who you are and your business.
Okay, my name is Jubilante Cutting. Joanne is my middle name. I'm 19 years old. I'm currently studying at the University of Guyana, reading for my Bachelor's of Law degree. I'm also a former student of the Bishop's High, recently graduated. And yes, I love my school. And I'm also the co-owner of Jubei Fashion, along with Amanda Wilson, who is the owner of Green Mango Media Company. We decided to go into fashion, or decided to go into Jubei fashion, because we realized that there was a gap in the fashion industry or the fashion arena in Guyana, where teenage girls who were just about young adults heading to that stage, you'd find that they wear clothing that are kind of inappropriate to their age, in that they would shop at the regular boutiques that cater for partying and older women. And so you found that more young women were getting susceptible to calls and male attention, unwarranted male attention, because they were dressing outside of their ages. So you found that 16, 15, 17-year-old girls were looking like 21, 20. So I decided to go into this line of business because we do have classy, fun, chic, girly clothing that cater for the teenage age and
Mhm.
also the young adult age, that can make you look sexy on the one end, or make you look classy, or make you look or feel comfortable in what you have on the one end, while at the same time not having you looking above the age or more exposed to a certain category of men or unwarranted attention. So we decided to go into fashion, especially in Guyana, to cater for that. In addition to that, for fashion in Guyana, you find that many boutiques, not all of them, but many of them, they offer clothing that are more appropriate to the American society, American weather conditions, jackets and coats, and different things that are not appropriate to Guyana's culture and climate. So we decided to ensure that the clothing that we offer and the clothing that we have, they blend into the Caribbean vibe, and they also blend into the heat that we feel a lot as Caribbean people from being in the tropics. So having fashion for Jubi and having fashion for me as an area that I am into, it's more than just having a clothing store, but it actually caters for a variety of needs that I see and I'd like to meet as a young person.
Let me ask you this, and these are very important motivators. Um, Young ladies being able to dress appropriately so that they avoid the catcalls and inappropriate approaches and so on and so forth. But what was the trigger? What was the defining moment that got you involved? Said, you know what, I have to do this.
Okay, I remember clearly. This was in August. I believe I had just finished writing my examinations, and I had started working, but I wasn't doing something that I felt like I'm attached to this thing. It's a part of me. I wasn't doing anything that I felt that, oh my gosh, this is me. So I was messaging my business partner one day, Amanda, and she said to me, Jube, how do you feel about going into business? So I said, I feel good about it. It's actually something I've wanted to do, but I don't know what I'd like to get into. And so she threw out a few ideas to me, and I also threw out a few ideas to her. And we came on this common ground of fashion, especially where it concerns teenage girls dressing appropriately, of course, to the climate, but still being able to capture that chic, positive, cool vibe. So she said, okay, think about it, get your things together. And I was left in charge of being able to organize and draft how this business should go forward in terms of social media, how I'd like to see the business go forward, my models, etc. So I was able in the interim to start to develop my logo, thanks to my friend Dexter Gonzalez, who assisted me in the logo stage. And I think that was like one of the main stages, because I had to be sending the logo back and forth to different friends to say, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think young girls would like how this looks? And my favorite colors are black and yellow. So he had to use my favorite colors to create something simple but still catchy. And my mother actually gave me the name. I told her I wanted the name to be something of me, but not exactly me, but still something that refers to me, simple and to the point. She was like, Jube is good. So I was like, yes, that's actually good. We don't have any businesses around here named Jube. So I took it from that first moment. It was a Sunday morning. I took it and I ran with it. We got the logos together. I started to put together the social media pages. I wanted to have Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, because I'm a Tumblr user. So I wanted to have those things. I also wanted to have us officially on Google. I was able to get that done through Google's Medium and or email address, everything I was able to
So
do. And I
hold a second, Jube. So you got all this stuff done, and here you are. You've started.
yes,
But when you first started, did you have any, well, what type of doubts do you have when you first started?
I didn't get that question
What
properly.
kind of doubts did you have when you first started?
My major doubt was I want to know if persons would buy or support me in terms of supporting the business. And I didn't want to have my face as Jubilante Cutting on the face of the business. I wanted the business to be separate and distinct from me, even though it would still be a part of me. So persons would respect the business as is, as opposed to the owner, even though they'd still have to have respect for me. So I wanted to groom the business in such a way that it caters more to customers as opposed to me, the individual catering to customers. So my doubt was, will persons respond to the page? Will persons like the page? I usually scan Facebook pages to see if a page is of a certain quality, if I would go after a page. So I had those same idiosyncrasies when it came to my business. Will persons like me on Facebook? Will I have enough market? And I wanted to do everything in an organic way, so that you'd be able to know directly that this is your market, as opposed to just using a social media tool to speed up the likes and not having that actual capacity. So because of those concerns, I decided to have the best output that I could have on the page, so that my clients would not have any doubts, or prospective clients or persons looking at the page would be more interested and more intrigued in going through the page and liking its extensions like Tumblr and Google. So I ensure that I spent a lot of time telling my team, okay, we need to have professional photography on this page. I get models. My models are close friends of mine, or a few girls that I've seen, they're creative, and I ensure that my photo shoots were not just the static photo shoots that persons would have, but that it would capture some vibe, some positive vibe from the models of themselves. So I told them, just be yourself, because when persons see you on the page and they see, hey, she's just naturally gorgeous, or she's naturally lovely, oh, this outfit fits her naturally, then they gravitate towards the page, as opposed to somebody just standing there posing in a picture and you're like, oh, probably I might wear that outfit. So I
What
want
what type of creative director do you think you are?
I'm a perfectionist. I
Perfectionist. All
yes,
right. Okay. Perfection. I got that. You are you're 19. You're from
yes,
the era of social media.
yes.
Um, it seems unfair to ask this question, how much of an impact social media has on what you do. But I'm going to tweak that question a little bit and ask you this. Your friends, your colleagues, your social graph, right? How how much of an influence your network has on the growth of your business, or I should say, how much of an impact it has in encouraging you to continue down this path?
Okay. Well, as I had said before, I tried my best to ensure that the business and we had separate identities. So
Uh-huh.
person respect the business and it also respect me. So after organically getting persons to respect the business, I use my market, my friends pool on Facebook because I have a lot of friends on Facebook. I turn to them now to amplify the market that I already had. So what you found is that you have two markets now, one that respected the business for the business and one that knows Juby.
Why was it so important to separate the two?
Yes, I believe it's important to separate the two because sometimes, persons would mix business with the individual. And so you have many clashes there. So I don't know why, but my mind just loves the separation. And so I did that. I was able to access markets from both perspectives. Persons who are just interested in fashion business or liking a new page on Facebook, and then having persons who know me, who respect me, and that's a large pool from my Facebook page who were able to go and like the pages. And I also, through my models, I would ask them to send invites or requests using their pools. So I was able to attract markets from all
Brilliant,
over.
Jubei. I think that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. I'm sitting here enthralled. Let me go to the chat room for a second. Michelle said, these young ladies are very inspiring, Selwyn. I'm glad I tuned in. We really have to proceed on some of the initiatives we recently discussed. Thank you, Michelle. And
Thank
Nicholas, big up the Bishop's Massive, big up Jubilante. Nicholas again, does Jubilante sew and promote local as well as bring in clothes? How is
you.
our business set up?
Okay. So my business is really a social media business first and foremost. However, we've been able to link with some of my friends. They've recently started a makeup business for your face cosmetics in Kitty. And she'd asked me to set up a few of my pieces in store. So we're currently in that stage. But Jubei is really a social media store, and we utilize social media in order to reach out to our clients. And the benefit of that is that instead of a person having to walk down Regent Street, you look in various stores, you don't know what you want, you get frustrated, you get tired, the sun is too hot, you can just go on the page, see what you like, see what's appropriate for your outfit, inbox me, I speak to you. I usually speak to clients. I refer them to outfits or places that I think would best suit the occasion. So it's more than just persons buying from Jubei per se, but I've started to build a database where I've personally experienced the services of popular designers or businesses, Rishma or Classic Styles or anywhere else. So if my client is looking for a particular outfit and I don't have it, I usually refer them to those places or even take them so that they'll be able to choose the best fit for the
How
occasion.
how old are you? You said you told us
I'm 19.
19. Uh-huh. I see. Wow. Jubilante, I am not usually lost for words, and that's because there are so many questions coming to me at the same time. But this idea of managing different access points, social media access points, or coordinating them and leveraging them, how did you come about this?
Well, again, I was born in the generation and
Okay, Jubilante. Okay, I knew I was gonna get punched in the stomach for asking some. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's your
I was
generation.
and
But
I find myself constantly looking online to see what strengths or weaknesses other social media pages have and businesses have that I wouldn't want for my own business. And some of them I've been falling into, but I'm telling myself, okay, you know what plan you're working with, so don't be discouraged. But I still look at pages to ensure that hey, I don't like what's going on there. I wouldn't want it on my page. So I try to tweak my marketing in such a way that I meet the needs of myself first, because as I said, I'm slightly a perfectionist. So I like to see certain things done in a particular order. It must be neat. So I try my best to ensure that my page carries that vibe. So persons know when they come to you, this isn't just any other business, but it's a business that values its customers. It values what we give out to our customers. So I ensure that the social media pages that I use them to the best of their own features. So for instance, I said earlier that I'm a Tumblr user, and I wanted my business page to have a Tumblr site, because Tumblr is a blog and you can share more things than just your own thing. But there's so many things that you can do with Tumblr. You can create your own web page ideas. You can put music in the URL so when customers come on, they can listen to good music while browsing through. So I did all that because I've used the mediums. I know their strengths and weaknesses, and I've been able to use them to amplify my business so that customers will be able to see that there's so many avenues, there's so many different places, there's so many different things that you can go to, sites that you can go to see different things. And I create that avenue through my business pages. So persons who would have not have known of Tumblr before, or would have not known of certain features that you can use on Instagram or Google businesses, you can create your own business on Google, so that whenever persons type it into Google search, they'll be able to see your business, because Google has you now as a business in their database. I've been able to do that so persons will see, hey.
Hold a second, Jubilante. Let me go to the chat room. And while I go to the chat room, just adjust that screen a little bit so to put a little space at the top of your head. Yes, yeah, just a little bit. All right, so Mark says, with your fashion ideas, with your fashion ideas, will some of these clothing be allowed? Okay. With your fashion ideas, will some of these clothing be allowed to? I guess what Mark is asking is, will some of your fashion be allowed to be worn in public buildings?
Pardon?
Will some of your fashion be allowed to be worn in public buildings?
Yes, some of them would.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
Yes.
And Nicholas asks, okay, so she's an online boutique and fashion consultant, essentially. Great stuff. Jubilante, okay, Jason Barnes come up. So proud of you, Juby. One question though, given that your business is social media based, how do you see it growing? Would you ever consider having a physical location? Before you answer that, did you bring the samples I asked you to bring?
Well, I posted the samples on my page because...
So you didn't bring them?
Not all of them have been able to be printed. However, I have one.
Could we? Well, we can't really see it. We're just seeing from... Oh, I see. So you didn't bring anything to show the public?
It's on my Facebook page.
Jubilante. All right. I'm not going to spend 30 seconds arguing with you about this. But here's an opportunity for you to show a global audience your stuff, and you're telling them go to your Facebook page.
I wore it, and I thought...
But we can't see it. What is the sense? What is the purpose of wearing it if we can't see it? The whole idea is so we can see. All right. 19 years. Next time, Jubilante, seize the opportunity and take advantage of it. All right? Don't be sending people to your Facebook page. We aren't all from your age group and your era. Okay. Let's go back to Jason's question. Would you ever consider having a physical location?
Definitely, I would. As I said earlier, my friend, she offered for me to have some pieces in her store. But apart from that, and as one of the plans for 2016 that myself and business partner had, is that we're actually looking for a location that we can set up for ourselves and have our own design the way that we want it to, because we have a very unique and creative way that we'd like to have the store look inside out to cater again for the market. So that don't think that, they're just going into an ordinary boutique, but the boutique actually appeals to you. So I do intend to have a physical store, and I do intend to manage it well. to ensure that my clients benefit from the best service that they can. Because my satisfaction really comes from seeing my client wear just that outfit, that power outfit.
How do
Just
you
for
how
the
do you
event.
balance the demands of school, working, and your entrepreneurial initiatives?
Well, I must say it is tough. It is very tough. However, I've tried not to complain. I've tried to always remember the scripture. And I know that God always gives you what he knows you can handle. And I've always been told that to whom much is given, much is required. I've always been told that from the time I was about 15 or 14 years old. So every time I find myself in a new challenge and persons are always questioning how you can do it or why you can do it, I always remind myself to whom much is given, much is required. And sometimes my much may not be the much of other persons. So I would know, and I know that God gives me this much because he knows that I will be able to handle it. So there's sometimes when I would have to, put the business on pause and focus on exams that are coming up or focus on assessments. And sometimes I'd have to say, hey, just let me read ahead so that I can give this week or a few days to my business. And at work, I try my best to ensure that if I'm given a particular task to do and I have something flashing, I would try to meet the demand of the one that is most important or urgent, and then go forward to do something else. So I have a lot of prioritizing to do, and honestly, sometimes it's not easy because you do have to factor in housework. So it's not just work, not just schoolwork, and not just business, but we live in homes, and I'm a young person,
Yeah,
so I have
we are 19 years of age, so we are 19, and we have chores and
yes,
responsibilities. Okay.
yes, all about them,
how how did your friends react to your business idea?
my friends. Well, how do I describe this? Some of my friends were very happy from the get go. Big shout out to Dexter. Dexter really helped me to push this business forward, and he's actually diversifying into business of his own. So I really love the fact that he took time off from his own priorities to
What
assist
does
me.
Dexter do?
Well, currently, Dexter is into, again, we utilize social media to get things across. I believe he has a Facebook page where he features young entrepreneurs and in Guyana and shows the work that they do so that when persons see it and know, hey, oh, Christine does marketing, let me reach out to her, or Lizo does online shipping, then I know who to go to. So he has created this page where he features young entrepreneurs and he goes through a little interview with them and has their picture up there. So he's able to allow persons to read more about who this person is and what they do.
Okay.
And he also has his own, well, I should say social organization where it's more than just having a business, but it's seeing how you can impact the community around you. So he's very into entrepreneurship, development of young persons. He has that call to assist where the young person like himself are concerned. And he's very young, probably 22 or 3. So he knows he's aware of the struggles that we have to go through, and he's also aware of the avenues that we have to take in order to alleviate those struggles. So he's very, very, very critical when it comes to assisting persons, and I've been able to benefit from that. And I'd like to thank him very much for allowing me to be a beneficiary of that. He also does logos, so I was able to benefit from him doing my logo. So I've referred him to many persons, and they're always contented with the work that he provides. So I say to everyone listening, if you have logos, if you have a business idea, and you'd really like to get it across, or you'd really like some guidance
Jubilante,
in
you're plugging shamelessly here this afternoon.
sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
In terms of where you want to go, because it's about building business in Guyana. Guyana needs more businesses when we need businesses to probably flood out the private sector organization, because we're doing things on the ground and there needs to be more done on the ground and more support given to local businesses. And you
Well, let
don't
me
find,
ask you this: how can the government help?
okay. First of all, I'd say that the government and through the necessary legislation, they have allowed for Guyana to have a private sector, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And really and truly, in the commerce and industry, they should ensure that they're able to link up with all of the young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in Guyana that are coming up. It's more than just having this structure and just meeting out to the needs of the current business community, but also trying to meet those who are budding. And I find that they're not doing that. And even though some try, it's not adding to the movement. So you still have to go through those infrastructural chains, and it's very depressing as an entrepreneur. So you find that young entrepreneurs like myself, we prefer to go about things using what we know and using it to the best of our ability in order to amplify our business instead of depending on somebody else. So I think that the government really needs to look into expanding the role of the private sector and, just allowing the private sector to do. I believe in the free market. I believe in mixed economies as well. And I know that government has their roles, and I believe that they should also lead the private sector to do certain things and to have certain benefits so that we as youth and as young entrepreneurs would be able to easily approach the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and benefit from those policies and things that the government has allowed them to put in place, as opposed to, just being able to see that the Chamber of Commerce is only catering to the businesses that have been long in Guyana and have been standing long in Guyana and that who they know. So I think that government, apart from just having the private sector bureau and just these small hubs, I think that they really need to look into seeing how best they can alleviate some of those infrastructural chains that young entrepreneurs and young people interested in business have to go through. I think that they should make it easier for us. And I must commend the registry. I believe that the process is now easy, and now that they've moved, the process is easy for anybody to go in and register their business. Register their business or partnerships. I believe it's $5,000 for the registration form or process. You fill it in and it's easy. The toughest process comes with the companies, where you have to go through the lawyer and get certain things done and pay the $60,000. But that's okay. However, I must commend the registry for making that process easier. But I believe where policy is concerned, the government should look at alleviating certain things and giving benefits to businesses as opposed to their young businesses and businesses who work as opposed to their friends who they're associated with. That can't work because you
describe a Guyana. If describe a Guyana if this entrepreneurial efforts and initiative among the youth turns into or transforms into a movement.
I could see
Tell me what describe that Guyana for me if you can.
I can see it. I can honestly see lands being made available, more lands being made available for young entrepreneurs to develop their businesses, not having to pay the expensive fee that foreign investors would have to pay, because we're not foreign investors, we're locals. And it's bad that locals have to go through stringent procedures and foreign investors, they just get the easy way around it. It should be the opposite. Locals should benefit from their country and should benefit from the fruits of their country. And I do believe that entrepreneurs in Guyana should have access to more land. And even if some of them can't build for per se, there should be probably a commerce area, this community for commerce, and the government invests in really attractive buildings for businesses of different types, or even encourage businesses to move to certain communities where you have a commerce area. And I think that that would be really good, because persons know, hey, if I'm looking for malls, I can walk down here and I'll find these streets. Or if I'm looking for, we need to have that a whole community of businesses, so that persons will be able to benefit, local businesses, so the person will be able to benefit from those skills and talents of local entrepreneurs. And I know that we have a lot of local entrepreneurs. It's just that they haven't been able to benefit from policies that promote and encourage and actually give them certain opportunities that they need. And I think that's much needed, because as an entrepreneur, sometimes the bulk of your wealth goes into investment, and you can't, I mean, investments in terms of a stock. And sometimes it will be hard for you to have a place to invest in a place at a point in time. So government should look for more things to do in terms of creating spaces, creating communities, building those communities. And trust me, it will come back to them.
Let me
Because when
let me go to the chat room for a second. Michelle said maybe you should get Dexter on the show. I guess
yes.
that's yeah, okay. Juby, that's your job. Um,
Okay.
Amanda, Juby is an amazing young lady and business partner. Great things are in her future because she is dedicated and focused. Proud of all the young ladies. Thumbs up. Keep moving. Stay focused. Celebrate. Michelle said maybe the chamber needs a special division or person to support with young entrepreneurs. And Jason Barnes, a community for commerce. I love that. I love that too. That is powerful. And
Thank
I just want to remind our audience, right? Here we are looking at one of the gems of Guyana. She's only 19 years. Imagine 19 more years with this kind of conviction and this kind of dedication and determination and opportunities available to her. But here is what I believe, Jubilante, listening to you and the others, is that you will create your opportunities. Even if it's not about opportunities being given to you, it will be nice. It'll be an added bonus, it'll be a catalyst and
Yes.
very transformative. But what
Yes.
you guys are doing so far is creating opportunities, and I like that.
Yeah.
What type of books do you read or have you read that have helped you in business? And yeah, what type of books and materials do you normally dive into?
Well, I must be honest. Most of my books currently are legal books.
Or what kind
So
of books?
legal
Oh,
books
okay.
related to business. However, some of the legal books, they push you and they motivate you to find out what is the legal side of everything first. So I usually tell persons going into business, and persons doing things in general, that you can't do things outside the scope that it should be done. And the law always guides you where that is concerned. So if you're going into business, try to find out. And as Delighted said earlier, do your research. And legal research is very important sometimes because, for instance, with partnerships, persons get themselves into partnerships and they don't know the ramifications, or they get themselves into into owning their own business and they don't know the ramifications, they don't know what's a legal step. And so I strongly believe that persons should know the laws pertaining to what they would like to get into and what they would like to do, so that if it is that you have to bring a complaint to the government or to the Chamber of Commerce, for instance, you're doing it with a legal authority and with a legal background. And things can't clash the law. You might find that in reality, persons try to operate outside of the law. But if you do things within the law, there is nothing that can break that. And if you're doing it honestly, there isn't anything that can break that. So the legal books that I read and legal principles that have been established so far that I've learned as a first year student, I've been able to try my best to apply it in everything I do, knowing that there is a law, there's always something legal to whatever I'm getting myself into.
What
So I should,
what motivates you, Jubilante?
what motivates me in business or what motivates me in general?
Oh, it's gonna be like this, huh? All right.
Yeah.
What
I have no motivation.
what motivates you in general, Jubilante? And then when you're done, you're gonna tell us what motivates you in business.
Okay. What motivates me in general? I usually experience a lot of difficulties. Like almost in everything I do, almost in every scene of life, I experience a lot of difficulties, whether it's with people or whether it's with my own personal self or whether it's with just my environment. So I find that I constantly have to keep going to the word and keep going to God for encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I try my best to ensure that my circle is it's filled with persons who are like-minded, not like-minded in the sense that they would agree with everything I say, but like-minded in the sense that principles that are supposed to build and encouragement, motivate me, they have it and they experience it. And therefore, they're able now to deposit those into my life whenever I'm going through a rough patch. So I find that my experiences, both negative and positive, they've been able to motivate me to actually do better and to go after better. And because I've been able to cross many hurdles, things that persons would think, oh my gosh, I can't do that, I've been able to do. And that's, I would honestly say it's only because of the grace of God and because of whatever he has planned for me. And there are many times he's the only person I can go to be like, God, I don't know what to do. And doors just open. And so I find my comfort, my solace, my motivation in him. And even if things go negatively, even if things go bad, I always say, God, please help me in this situation. And I find that he always opens doors. It wouldn't happen in my time. It wouldn't happen in 2 hours or 2 seconds. But whenever is the right time for that thing to happen, it happens. So I know that he will take care of certain things. So I look forward to that. And even if I'm going through a rough patch, I know that there's always like this good thing coming because all things work together for our good. And I know that there's this thing coming. So I usually tell myself, be encouraged.
Okay. Well, time is on us, so I'm going to take a short break and let the others come in. And
Yes.
so we just go straight into it. Okay?
Great. No problem.
All right.